I still remember the morning when she first smiled at me, that fragile curve of her lips, carrying more warmth than the entire sun itself. And in that instant, I felt something within me awaken, a quiet tremor that whispered, "This is what it means to be alive." She stood beneath the banyan tree, her hair moving with the wind, her hands holding a notebook filled with the poetry she never dared to share. And when her eyes met mine, the world forgot to breathe. I wanted to speak, but words tangled in my chest. So I simply nodded, and she smiled again, and that was enough for me to forget. Every sorrow, every ache, every lonely night that had once belonged to me. The village around us was waking to the sound of bells and birds, but I heard none of it. All I could see was her, and all I could feel was the pulse of her presence, like sunlight spilling gently through clouds. She asked me if I believed in destiny, and I said I believed in what was standing before me, and she laughed, softly saying, "Then you must believe in miracles, because that is what this feels like." For a while, we just stood there, not speaking, yet saying everything our hearts needed to say. And when she turned to leave, I found myself following, not with my feet, but with my soul, as if something unseen had bound us together. I watched her walk along the path that led to the fields, and the horizon seemed to rise to meet her. Every step, a promise I wanted to keep. The day passed slowly, but her image did not fade, and when night fell, I looked to the stars and thought of her, wondering if she too was looking at the same sky. Perhaps thinking of the strange boy who could not stop staring. Her smile became the last light my heart carried into every dream that followed. And even when dawn came again, it felt dimmer without her beside me. Days turned into weeks, and yet her face did not fade from my mind. Her smile kept echoing through every hour like a quiet melody I could never forget. I began to walk the same path each morning, hoping to see her again beneath the banyan tree, hoping to hear her voice once more. It became a ritual, my heart performing without question, as though it needed her presence to keep beating. And one day, when the wind carried the scent of rain, I saw her again, standing there with her notebook pressed against her chest, her eyes lifting to meet mine, and in that instant the world felt whole again. She told me she had been writing about light and loss, and asked if I wanted to hear, and I nodded, because I wanted to hear anything that came from her soul. She read softly, each word trembling, like a feather in the breeze. And though I did not understand every line, I understood what lived behind it. The ache, the hope, the quiet prayer that someone might see her and not look away. When she finished, I told her that her words felt like home, and she smiled, that same sunrise smile, the one that had first undone me. She said she had written them for someone she met once, a boy who listened even when she said nothing. And my heart forgot how to breathe for a moment. We stood there, beneath the gray sky, as rain began to fall in soft whispers. And she reached out her hand, holding mine for the first time. It felt like the world paused around us. The sound of the rain, the rustle of leaves, the pulse of our hearts, everything blurred into one endless moment that I wished would never fade. When the rain stopped, she left once more. But this time, she turned and said softly, "I will be here again." And those words became my reason to wake each morning. For as long as the sun rose, I knew I would find her again, in that same place where our hearts had first learned to speak without sound. The rains left, and the fields turned golden under the sun. Yet every morning I still walked to the banyan tree, carrying a heart full of hope and silence. She came as she had promised, each day bringing new words, new laughter, new light that melted through the still air, and I found myself memorizing everything about her, the sound of her voice, the way she tilted her head when thinking, the way her eyes searched the sky as if trying to find answers that lived beyond clouds. We spoke little, yet our silences were heavy with understanding. One evening, she brought me a small folded paper and said, "If you ever miss me, read this." And the way she said it made something inside me tremble. I did not ask why. She spoke as if she would leave, for I feared that saying it aloud would make it true. The next morning, she did not come, nor the one after that, and soon the banyan tree stood alone, with only the wind whispering through its leaves. I waited, every day, through sun and through storm, until I forgot how many mornings had passed. Still I came, still I waited, because her absence had become my companion, and hope had become the only breath I knew. One evening, as the light faded behind the fields, I unfolded the paper she had given me and read the words written there. They said, "If ever I am gone, remember that you were my light, the only reason my heart believed in warmth." And in that moment, the world fell still around me, the air heavy, the ground cold. And I realized she was gone. Not because she forgot, but because life had taken her where I could not follow. I knelt beneath that tree and felt tears I had never allowed myself to shed fall into the earth that had once felt her steps. And I whispered her name again and again, hoping the wind would carry it to wherever she was, my heart breaking, yet still grateful that I had known her, that I had seen her smile, even once. For that was enough to fill a lifetime with both beauty and ache. Years passed, and the world changed around me, yet a part of me remained by that banyan tree where her laughter once lived. The fields grew quiet, the seasons moved through their endless rhythm, but my heart stayed where it had learned to love. Her memory became both my comfort and my curse, because every dawn I looked to the horizon, hoping to see her walking toward me, her notebook in her hands, her smile breaking the morning open like the first light of hope. I grew older, yet I never forgot the way her eyes could calm every storm inside me. Sometimes I still heard her voice in the rustle of leaves or in the rain tapping softly against the earth. And I would close my eyes and whisper that I still remembered her, that I still carried her in every breath. One evening, when the sky burned gold and red, I felt something in the air, something gentle, like a goodbye that had taken too long to reach me. The wind shifted, and for a moment, I thought I saw her standing there, beneath the earth tree, her hair moving like it once did, her face soft and bright. I stepped closer, but she was not there, only light spilling through the branches, as if she had become part of the sun itself. I smiled through tears and whispered, "Thank you for every moment, for every heartbeat you gave me." And I knew then that she had never truly left, for she lived in every dawn that touched the world with warmth. Her smile had become the sunrise that returned each day to remind me that love never fades, it only changes its form. I walked away from the tree for the first time, feeling peace in the ache, knowing that some people are meant to stay, not beside us, but within us, and that sometimes the most eternal love is the one that teaches us to keep looking toward the light, even after it has gone. And as I reached the hill, I turned back one last time, the sun resting on the horizon, and I whispered softly. Her smile was the last sunrise my heart remembered.